Maybe the third time's the charm for the orange and blue, as it's the first Battle of Alberta of the season. We get you ready for the Oilers of the Flames right here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. What's up, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving. Hope you're doing well on this lovely Sunday here in Edmonton. Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas, Matt Cassian with you for the pregame show as we get you set for the Oilers and the Flames. Edmonton 0-2, Calgary 2-0. The Oil looking for a much better performance tonight. As always, you can text us 780-218-9999. If you're listening on iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Apple Music, and of course, EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Text us. Let us know your thoughts. If you have some feelings about last night's game, the first two games, we'll read those out. Share those with us via text. Then if you're watching on YouTube, of course, you can get into the nasty chat. Keep it nasty, but not too nasty as we roll on here. Of course, GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. The Latino Heat back at ESTHQ. If he's ready to hop on, I'd like to say hi to him. Oh, hola, senor. How you doing?
Good. Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear, brother.
Thank you.
How are you doing after yesterday? Are you all right?
Good. You know what, Tony? I was a little tired today. I was a little gassed. I slept in, and then I had to take a mid-afternoon nap, and similar to what the Oilers are probably doing. Not right now. They're obviously warming up, but I know it's early, but it's a big game, Tommy. I mean, if they drop this one, our post-game is going to be absolute fire. I might not even make it to Thanksgiving dinner if the Oilers lose this one, because, I mean, the fans will be angry, my friend.
You know, they've been pretty feisty these first two games, understandably so. I think there still are some people out there that are not overly concerned. I'm one of those people that thinks that this Oilers team will sort itself out. It is frustrating if you're a fan of this team to see them going through the same stuff they did last year. So like they're sleepwalking. I was thinking about that game again this morning and into today, and I was like, you know, it's just, we've seen this before. Why do we need to see it again? We joked, and then I was joking at first last night when I'm like, there's no more lessons to be learned for this team.
No.
They've lost in the first round in the last 5 years, second round, third round, Stanley Cup final. They lost in a play-in round, which doesn't even exist anymore. They've gotten their coach fired 13 games into a season. They had Dave Tippett. They've had Ken Hitchcock. They've had they've got Chris Knobloch now. They had Jay Woodcroft. They had Tom McLeod. Enough. Yeah. Stop it. Just go play good because you're a good team. Over.
Jimbo says Tommy's already drafting his Game 10 eulogy as per last year. Let's hope not, but you're right, Tom, and we talked about it yesterday with Belzy and Reed. Like, enough with the lessons here. Like, this team's going to get... And I look at this game, and this one, you shouldn't need a kick in the pants. Everybody should be raring to go, especially how the first two games have gone, and there's a lot of issues with this team right now early on. Yeah. Can they flip the script and do something different tonight? Sure, of course. But we need to see this more consistently, because last year, Tom, they dropped their first two, I think, and then they went into Nashville, won a sloppy game. That was one of Jack Campbell's better games. Before he got sent down, and then the wheels kept falling off. So, I mean, the Oilers got to show something here. They got to show that they can play detailed hockey. They got to show that they can make tape-to-tape passes. And you heard Corey Perry, and God bless his soul, because he was honest after two games. That's what I want to hear.
Yes, he was.
If you're a fan out there, you don't want the same cliche answer, we're fine, it's only two games, because we've heard it all, Tom. Just like you said, there's no more lessons to be learned. We've heard it all. So when a guy's honest like Corey Perry, I love it. And good on him, and I hope he's sharing those thoughts with his teammates, saying, come on, boys, like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. A lot of people thinking, come on, boys, what are we doing here, as they head over to Rogers Place tonight. If you're listening on your way to the game, hello. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate you. It should be an interesting night down at Ice District. All right, we can get to lineups. I know it's more of a TBD thing, because although the Oilers can't really do too much outside of shuffle up their lines. They only have 12 forwards on the roster. Yeah, and maybe we see Stetcher get in. I would assume we'll probably see Stetcher in for obviously either Emberson or Dermott. And the Liquid Beaver is saying game 3 of the season, and I'm nervous for this team. It shouldn't be this way, Tommy. Liquid Beaver, that is fair. That is fair. And then somebody else was asking if Stetcher is just too small. That's from Bryce the Sparky saying, Tommy, is Stetcher just too small? I don't think so. Like,
No.
he's a smaller defenseman, but so is Neil Pionk. He gets it done. So is Josh Morrissey. He gets it done. So is Torrey Krug. He gets it done. Unfortunately, Torrey Krug, obviously, injury might have ended his career. Hopefully that's not the case, but tough situation for him. But there are smaller defensemen. Some, look at Quinn Hughes, that are about the same size. Maybe Stetcher's a little bit smaller, but Stetcher just hasn't played a game yet. Like, I think he had an okay preseason. I don't think he was, amazingly good, but he's been in the league for a while. No, I don't think it's just a case of too small, but I understand where Bryce the Sparky's coming at with that question. So maybe we see him today. We'll find out at warm up.
Maybe. I'll say this. I don't think so, because you're not. Are you really taking Eberson out after 2 games? You're going to crush the kid's confidence.
Then take out Dermott, although Dermott was actually half decent last night.
Dermott was one of their better defensemen last
know.
night. So.
That's not good.
And you're
but
not
good for him.
As much as most of the defensemen have struggled, I can't see it. Too many changes today for the Edmonton Oilers. Tommy, I know because you're hosting, I'll keep track on lines from Rogers Place, and I'll share them with you as soon as I get them. As soon as I get them. As Tommy drinks some water there.
All good. Do you want to get to the question of the night, Hernan? Sorry, I needed a sip of water there.
No,
do you want to get to the question of the night?
Yeah.
All right, let's fire up that question of the night.
It's going to be up on Edmonton Sports Talk's Twitter page as well. It's a poll, so it's early. I want to emphasize that. It is really early in the season. But what has you the most concerned about the Oilers' slow start after 2 games? There's 4 options, Tom. 1 even strength goal.
Yeah.
Option 2, 11 goals against in 2 games. Option 3, PK at 16.7%. The next closest is 50, Tom. It's ridiculous how bad it is after 2 games. And the 4th one, goaltending.
Yeah.
So post that up. Let us know at 780-218-9999 or on the Nasty Chat. What has you the most concerned at this time after 2 games? I know it's early. And, yeah.
I have one that, stands out to me immediately. It's that 16.7% PK.
Yeah.
1 for 6. 1 for 6. It's awful. Awful. And, they just go out there. It's again, the start of last season, Hernan. They were leaking a goal every game on the PK for the first month and a half. And now it's even worse. And the PK, what did it give up? 4 goals all postseason?
Yeah. And a lot of those
they've given up 5 already.
A lot of those came in the finals too, Tom. Right up into the final. I think they had given up 1. And it was against Dallas, which is bizarre. Now, did you add it to Fogle and McLeod killed penalties, Cody Ceci, Vinny Desharnais? You lost some key bodies, and Chris Knobloch alluded to that post-game where, hey, we've lost some guys here, so it might take some time, but you can't be this bad to start. 16.7%, Tom.
Pathetic. It's so bad. Obviously, if they go 3 for 3, 4 for 4 tonight, which they are capable of, and I know people are, the new guys in there, they can't figure it out, they can't get a save. I get that, but they should be able to. The narrative kind of changes, but still, what a terrible start for the penalty kill. So to me, that's the one, and I love that poll question for the question of the night. I would go with that glaring 16.7% that as the Edmonton Oilers very, very, very comfortable in 32nd place on the PK right now.
A lot of messages coming into the inbox. Everybody's saying 5, all of the above. Yes, but you have to pick one. Just so I'm not the same as you, Tom, I'm going to go with the 11 goals against. That is not good enough. And this is a team that's supposed to be better defensively. They moved on from Vinny Desharnais and Cody Ceci, which I was fine with, but I always said you got to get players that are better, and they didn't. And I talked about it all off season. And once we started rolling from 66 on our show, I said, I'm concerned about this defense. Oh, Hernan, you're always so negative. It wasn't negativity. It was just my opinion. And we're seeing it now. Now, is it all on the defensemen? No, the forwards haven't been back checking well.
Good
We
point.
broke down a few things. And the goaltending, I mean, Skinner, 2 soft goals. Pickard, 2 soft goals. So, yeah, you can point the fingers at a lot of things, but I'm going to go with the 11 goals he gains. If you're a Stanley Cup contending team, you can't allow 11 goals in 2 games.
No. And I saw a text that came in and said the Avs have been stinking it out in the first couple of games too. Yes, absolutely. So it is super early. I do remember, though, last year, Hernan, when the Oilers dropped those first 2 games to the Canucks, asking Evander Kane how the team was handling being 0-2. He's the sky is falling, this and that. And we thought it was funny because we knew that they would bounce back at some point, but it didn't start to bounce back until mid-November when they got their coach fired. So I really don't think it gets that bad again to that critical level, but
even
what a
then,
terrible start. Start.
Tom, remember he came in, I think he won a few games, and then they lost 3 or 4 straight again. And then that last game of that road trip, when they go to Florida, Tampa, Carolina, the last game against Washington is when they started turning it around. So I'm not going to hear anything about coaching. I don't think it's coaching. I think these players just need a kick in the pants and need to realize who they are and what they are, and not letting all the media attention that everybody and their dog is picking them to win the Stanley Cup. Because I think that does have an impact. We know the players read social media and read the clippings, and everybody's all over them to be this great team again. So, come on. Enough is enough for me, man. I was thinking about this on the way in. If you're a guy that's been there for a while, Connor, Dry, News, they must be all looking at each other saying, why are we like this? Because I don't even think they know, Tom.
I don't think they do either, but it's like they need something so bad to happen for them to wake up. So.
I'm going to go vote on the poll question.
Okay, I already voted on the poll question. It's up on our X page. It is the question of the night via the Latino Heat. Check it out if you can. And it says, it's early, but what has you most concerned about the Oilers' slow start after 2 games? 1 even strength goal, 11 goals against total, 16.7% on the PK, or the 4th option, goaltending. Right now, I'm going to refresh it just to see. Right now, leading the way is 11 goals against. That's the one Hernan went with, 38.1%. I had the PK at 28.6%, 1 even strength goal, and goaltending lagging behind at 19 and 14.3%. So if you're on X, check out the poll. That is our question of the night. What area of the Oilers game is concerning you the most through 2 games? All right. We will give you lineups when the teams hit the ice for warm-up. I can throw out how the Oilers skated last night, and then we'll get into our injury report. Matt Cassian will be joining us shortly for Game Changers. Keep those texts coming in, 780-218-9999. And, of course, via the nasty chat. We got a little spicy off the top, and I like it. I like it a lot. McDavid was between Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. Draisaitl centering Skinner and Arvidsson. I actually liked that line last night, to be honest with you. Henrique with Janmark and Brown. I thought Brown was buzzing. I thought Arvidsson was buzzing. And then Ryan, Podkolzin, and Perry was your 4th line. Again, Oilers only have 12 forwards on the roster right now. On defense last night, Ekholm with Bouchard, Nurse with Dermott, Kulak was with Emberson. The only extra player on the roster right now, Troy Stecher. As for the Calgary Flames, after their win last night against Philly in Calgary, Nazem Kadri between Sam Honzik and Andrei Kuzmenko, Michael Backlund between Connor Zary and Blake Coleman, Martin Pospisil between Jonathan Huberdeau and Anthony Mantha, Justin Kirkland centering Ryan Lomberg, and Adam Klapka. Klapka is a giant. He's a big, big human being. Mackenzie Weegar was paired up with Daniel Miramanov, Kevin Ball with Rasmus Anderson, and Jake Bean with Braden Pahal. No Tyson Barrie yet. Maybe he gets in tonight. We'll see if there's any changes to the Flames lineup when the teams hit the ice for warm-up. We will pass those along your way. Michael Coronado and Joel Henley were the only other scratches on top of Barrie. Your anticipated starters, we do know that Stu Skinner will get the nod for the Oilers. A 25-year-old 0-1 this season, a 964 GAA, my goodness. .615 save percentage in one game. Didn't even make it through the full game. Had to get yanked, I think, about 31 minutes in, if I remember that correctly. 4-1 is Skinner's record versus the Flames in his career, with a 190 GAA, 946 save percentage in 6 appearances versus Calgary. Those numbers are pretty good, and you should be motivated tonight. Now, at the other end of the rink, we're anticipating Dan Vladar getting the start, the 27-year-old, 1-0 this year, 487 GAA, 792 save percentage. And 2-1 is Vladar's record with a 269 goals against average, 916 save percentage in the 3 games he has faced Edmonton over the course of his career. Again, we will confirm lineups when the teams hit the ice down at Ice District for warm-up. That brings us to the Advantage Sports Medicine Injury Report. At Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy, we treat you like the pros. Our multidisciplinary team includes sports medicine physicians, along with highly skilled physiotherapists, strength and conditioning coaches, and massage therapists. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance performance, we treat you like a pro, using the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game. All right, here is your Advantage Sports Medicine Injury Report for the Edmonton Oilers. Evander Kane, LTIR, abdominal surgery. The Calgary Flames, a couple of guys on the shelf. Kevin Rooney, IR, undisclosed. And Yegor Sharangovich, IR, lower body. Sharangovich, a very, very strong season for the Flames in 23-24. Nanso, are you seeing anything? Or you got anything there? Any text that you want to get to?
Yeah, look, Liquid Beaver says, for me, it's the goals he gains. This one with no name says, all 4 of those concerns are horrendous. This team is not better than last year, and we'll need to face that fact. Rob from LA says, switch Nuge and Skinner. Top 2 lines haven't done anything to be the same. I would still stick with it just a little bit longer. Del Reyda says, we need a player who, no, sorry. There's another one here by Del Reyda. There we go. Salas and Gazzola are like party in the front, business out back. I really like that.
Like a mullet? Okay.
Let's see here. I was not sold on this roster at all either. 40% of this team changed since GM7. All but Arvidsson and Skinner are not upgrades than those that are gone, and many replaced at
That's fair.
all. Zedmo says, Oilers are gonna wish they dressed Josh Brown. I don't know about that. I get the physicality part, but
yeah,
he's gonna hurt you more than he's gonna help you. And if he fights, good on him. But I don't think Josh Brown, outside of dropping the mitts, will be missed in tonight's lineup. I get what Zedmo's saying, I do, but you need a guy that can play.
Yeah. Brown had a fight, I believe, last night. I think I saw it on Hockey Fights. Obviously, he's a tough guy, wants to work his way back up to the big club, but he's got a couple of guys that have had better training camps, and through 2 games, kind of struggling. So,
and he wailed on that guy. Like, it was a good little scrap for him.
Well, he's a big, he is tough. Josh Brown is tough. He's a giant human being, and he is tough. But I'm looking at the Flames roster. Like, Lomberg is someone who is a spit disturber, let's say.
Yeah.
Kadri can be someone who gets in there. Blake Coleman plays feisty. Anthony Mantha's a big boy, but he's not overly physical. And Adam Klapka is legit just a huge person. I could see him kind of trying to run amok a little bit, but the Oilers do have a couple guys that, if any of these guys decide to run around, Darnell Nurse should, in theory, be able to settle them down. I know Matthias Ekholm isn't that guy, but he is a presence. And then this is where Evander Kane would be highly, highly valuable to kind of settle people down from the opposition. And he is on the path to recovery. But
and you got the worm, right? So
yeah, but he's again, we said it last night. Like, he's not tough.
No.
He's just he's like Lomberg. He's a pain in the ass, right? And he can be a spit disturber.
It's gonna be interesting because if you're Calgary, you're being physical because Edmonton doesn't have a lot of those guys. So and you're looking
at Calgary. I'd be physical on Emberson and Dermott or Stetcher if he gets in. I'd be all over them.
Yeah, me too. And you're looking like Huberdeau 5 points in 2 games. Mantha 4-2. Like these guys are feeling good, Tom. Like the Oilers better be ready to go tonight. If they have another slow start, and going back to past, I know they've beaten Vladar, but Vladar's been really good against the Oilers too.
Mm-hmm.
He's solid.
2-1 is his record. Again, Dan Vladar expected to get the start for the Calgary Flames. Vladar lifetime versus Edmonton, 2-1, like I said, and a 269 GAA, 916 save percentage in those 3 appearances, like Hernan was alluding to. And then Stu Skinner, also very good against his provincial rivals. 4-1 record, 190 GAA, 946 save percentage in the 6 appearances Skinner has had against Calgary over the course of his career. All right, Matty Cassian will be joining us in a couple of minutes for Game Changers. More of your texts, keep those coming in, 780-218-9999. Coach Mike says Avs and Preds are also 0-2, saying that Oilers have to get their heads out of their collective butts, have to get into the win column tonight. Coach Mike, well said. And then Matty says, without Kane, the Oilers are missing some spit disturbers. Yes, Matty 39, very fair point. Indeed. Okay, let's take a quick look at the nasty chat. I'll throw out the question of the night one more time, and then we'll get Cass on for Game Changers. I see he is just about ready to go. Deans via the nasty chat says, biggest concern so far are the top 6 forwards being awful. Yeah, not a lot of offense coming from them. They got the one on the power play last night. James says McDavid was already looking like the season was not going how he wants at the end of last night's game. I know he's kind of been fighting it too, but at some point the worm will turn for those guys. A Merville, I hope I'm saying that right, says the season has barely waved goodbye to the finals, and here we are back in the game. Maybe after a solid 10 matches, we'll have enough fodder for some early bird commentary. All right, keep those texts coming in. The question of the night, let us know your thoughts, 780-218-9999, and of course via the nasty chat. It's early, but what has you the most concerned about the Oilers' slow start after 2 games? Is it the 1 even strength goal? Is it the 11 goals against in 2 games? Is it the penalty kill sitting 32nd at 16.7%, only killing 1 of 6 off? Or is it straight up goaltending? Let us know your thoughts. Nat, so did you want to jump in there?
No, I'm just going to let you know Cass is good to go when you want to get to good old
good to go. Okay.
Good old Cassian here.
All right. 11 goals against, by the way, leading the charge in the poll, 40.8%. Let's get Cass on here. And there he is. Hello, Cass. Ooh, he zoomed in. Very nice. Hernan likes that tight shot.
Nice tight shot. Yeah, you don't want to see the mess everywhere else, so we're good.
Mm-hmm. How was your Thanksgiving, Cass?
It was good. Did a little brisket on the smoker, which was fantastic. First time we've done that as a family for Thanksgiving, but yeah, it was nice. Good to get the family together. Brother and nieces and nephew were in town, so just got together with the whole family and spent some time, which was just a good day. So it was lots of fun. Unfortunately, watching that Oilers game wasn't as much fun. There was little spurts in the first, as I'm sure you guys have talked about, some opportunity that weren't able to capitalize on, and then it all fell apart. So family stuff was great. Oilers, not so much.
No, Cass, I kind of wanted you to debrief us on what you saw last night. I will throw the question of the night at you as well, but like, are they just going through the same thing they did last year, or like, should we be concerned? Because last night there's some people pretty pissed off at the team, and I get it. Why? There's others that are like, relax, they'll get their heads out of there, you know what, and figure it out. I'm of the mind that they will figure it out. It can't get anywhere near as bad as last year, but where are you at after that one last night?
Yeah, I don't think it can get as bad. I hope it can't get as bad as it was last year. But it was still pretty gross. And I understand and feel the concern. I mean, rightfully so. I feel the concern. And as far as what I think the biggest issue has been for me so far, we're going to jump right into it, which is this Game Changers brought to you by Damon Bunting, Remax Elite Real Estate. Damon Bunting is a consistent top producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian Remax realtors. realtors. I never know how to say that word.
I love you're reading the liners.
He's like the best. He's the best.
Yes.
He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out at DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at DamonBunting Real Estate. I can tell you, if you actually have ever thinking of selling your home, and I've seen this, so we've actually have family that is going through the process of selling a home, and Damon is helping them out. So we're not all smoke and mirrors here. We believe in our people. Damon does a fantastic job. So I can actually speak from real experience with this. One of the coolest things that I've seen them do, and then we'll get into the not so cool things for the Edmonton Oilers is they do a really awesome digital staging of the house, or they have the ability to do that, where it's like all the old furniture is gone, everything's out, but they set it up kind of modern and nice and Pinteresty, let's say, even if there's no furniture in there, and it looks unreal. So Damon, great job by his team on that. Now, to answer that question, what's the biggest concern? What are we concerned about? We'll start off with game changer number 1, which is panic killing. The penalty kill to me, Tom. I mean, how can this not be the biggest concern? It was so good in the playoffs. You got rid of really 3 of your top penalty killing guys are gone. They're gone. They're not here anymore. And their penalty killing, and it's 2 games. I understand that. There's ebbs and flows. I understand that. But Tom, 16%.
Yeah.
16%.
They've killed 1 of 6.
You've killed off 1. Like if it was, and we look at like the New York Islanders, they're at 50%. They're 2 for 4, where you're like, ugh, that's pretty ugly. But the Edmonton Oilers have given up so much on the penalty killing already. And with the turnover in players that play for your penalty kill not being here anymore, I mean, I think that's a legitimate concern to look at this and say, well, this was so huge in getting him through the playoffs. And yes, they had ebbs and flows last season and they struggled. But Tom, it's been an absolute write-off. They can't kill a penalty to save their life right now. And to me, that is the single biggest thing, and the single biggest thing that they need to turn around. I mean, there's other things too, but it's a pretty big one. I mean, you can't go 16% on your penalty kill, Tom, and expect to win hockey games.
I kind of tried to pick Belzy's brain a little bit, and I know he's big on Royal Road, and that's pucks getting through the middle, and he talked a little bit about that last night on the post-game showcast. But for you, like, obviously there's a lack of execution on the PK right now. What is glaring in the implementation of the system on the PK from what you've seen?
Yeah, I think it's not everyone on the same page. Which ultimately leads to lack of execution. People guessing, trying to do other guys' jobs, no cohesion. And penalty killing is such it's such a symbiotic thing, and that everyone on the ice has to be able to read off one another because there's less of you. And so when you're trying, there's always something you're going to give up, or almost always on the penalty kill. Like it's like you're trying to give up the lowest percentage play. That's what your objective is give your lowest percentage play and let your goaltender then hopefully make a save. Now, they haven't got many saves from the goaltender, but they haven't really forced those low percentage plays either. And I think as a whole, what I've seen from the penalty kill so far is just scattered. Like one guy goes, no one else goes. One guy's applying pressure to try to force the puck down the wall, and everyone else is just kind of like, well, I don't know. Do we kind of go here? Do we go here? And, part of that is just learning, but you had the preseason to do that. And you had time to work on it. So I don't know if you can just point and say, oh, it's just early in the season is a total excuse here. But Tom, you got to find a way. You have to find a way to get that penalty kill better. Like, again, such a important integral part of the run to almost win a cup was that penalty kill. And at the start of the year this year, Tom, it's been absolute trash. They have to get it better.
Cass, remember last year when it was leaking goals basically every night for the first month and a half?
But that's not even like this.
No, this
that wasn't even close
level
to this.
Oh yeah, touche. But you talked a lot about, and I asked you a lot about it, remember their time? It was just their timing was off on the force through the middle. Like, it's just everything now, right?
Yep.
Is that essentially what it's like? It's just,
I think so.
Not working there. It's not working there.
Yeah. Well, it's not the forwards aren't doing a great job of pushing the puck to either side. You're letting too many pucks go through the middle. You're not tying up sticks well in front. Your defensemen are they getting, tied up when they shouldn't be, and getting caught on the wrong side thus far. Like there has been, just zero execution on the penalty kill.
No, 16.7%. Number 1 on game changers, panic killing. Number 2, Northern speed, Cass.
Yep. And this is trouble number 2. If we're listing, these are the first 2. So the penalty kill to me is number 1. Number 2 is you haven't been able to 5-on-5 generate speed through the neutral zone. Largely. Now, when they've had some moments in the offensive zone when they've had possession, and yeah, they're playing a little bit of keep away. We saw that against Chicago yesterday. They zipped the puck around all right, maybe get a little bit of an opportunity, and that was okay. But what we haven't seen yet from this team through the first 2 games is legitimate threatening rushes. We just haven't seen that.
Right.
And I think part of that is the defensemen haven't done enough to get the puck early to the forwards or cleanly to the forwards to enable them to generate off the rush. And, if people are concerned, and I understand the concern to say, okay, well, this team probably a little bit slower than they were last year. And is that going to affect them in their ability to generate off the rush? Now, ultimately, I think they're going to be fine in that. I don't buy into the concern that that's going to be an issue for the entirety of the season.
Right.
But it's an issue right now in that they have not been able to really generate anything off the rush 5-on-5. The forwards have not come through the neutral zone with a lot of speed. There haven't been any or many odd man rushes. And you have to know teams are going to try to lock it down. So those opportunities are going to be, you're going to have to work for them, which means you're going to have to execute cleanly to get them. And they haven't done that in transition out of the defensive zone through the neutral to generate those chances in the offensive zone.
Cass, speaking to that, in your opinion, how much of it is like sheer speed of individual players, which they clearly lost, losing Fogel and McLeod and Broberg and Holloway, as opposed to what the players have been talking about and puck movement, crisp puck movement.
Yep.
Where do you
I think it's way more on the puck movement side. Okay. Way more on the puck movement side, which is why I said I'm not, because they are a little bit slower, some of the players, but the guys you just mentioned, Holloway, McLeod, with Fogel, were those guys that were leading the rush through the neutral zone, generating off of it? No, they're not. Sometimes, on occasion, McLeod sometimes.
Right.
But it wasn't like he was doing it all the time. And to me, it's the execution. I think it's the execution starting from the back end, the defensemen, where they haven't been able to execute cleanly, to transition, to get the puck moving north quickly. Ergo, the northern speed comment. I think they haven't been able to do that enough. And I think they have said that as well. And, I was thinking that before anyone said anything. But that's been a challenge for them through the first 2 games and something they need to address and they need to adjust right away.
Get on it. Tonight's another opportunity. Number 1 here on Game Changers with Matt Cassia and a panic killing. Number 2, you just heard it. Northern speed. Get that puck moving quicker, not essentially the foot speed, but more so the puck movement. And then here's another key one, and I like it, and I like that you brought it up on Game Changers. Number 3 tonight, saves for Skinner.
Yep, got to get a couple of saves. Anytime you're in a rut, sometimes it takes, and first 2 games have been a rut. Let's be frank, it's been a rut. They're in a rut already at the start of the year. Sometimes it takes goaltending to get that out of you. Now, Stuart Skinner, not great that first night. Didn't have much help that first night either. Gets to watch yesterday. It's scheduled. It wasn't like he was held out for playing poorly in the first game. It was scheduled. Planned. Pickard was supposed to play, and Skinner supposed to play tonight against the Calgary Flames. Now Tom, we got to see him make a couple saves. Now I thought he did actually. You go back to like that Scheifele breakaway in the game against Winnipeg where he did make a couple of saves early, but then got a little bit shaky as the night went on and didn't get much help and ultimately was pulled because of it. But a huge opportunity here for Skinner to right the ship a little bit. If he comes in and he's just steady, I think particularly through that first period, if Edmonton scores first tonight, I do think that might go a little bit different, especially if you get some goaltending behind it. But Skinner stepping up and making a couple big saves, maybe one he's not supposed to make, I think would go a really long way, just mentally, even for this group and for this team to kind of reset and flip that switch and hopefully get everything going in the right direction.
All right, that was number 3 on Game Changers. Saves for Skinner. Number 2, Northern Speed. Number 1, Panic Killing. Game Changers, as always, brought to you by Damon Bunting Remax Elite. Cass killing it on the Damon Bunting promo, says Mark from Sun City West, who also adds, I want to say it's good to have you guys back on air for the season and all of our much-needed therapy, dumping, venting, and hopefully celebrations to come. Thank you, Mark from Sun City West, a beautiful place just outside of Phoenix. All right. If you have any questions or comments and want to bounce some ideas off of Cass, text those in 780-218-9999. And if you're watching, get in on the nasty chat. Oilers and the Flames, first of 3 meetings this season between these two clubs. Battle of Alberta. Of course, no outdoor game for these two teams this year like they had last year at Commonwealth, which was an awesome time, by the way. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of that cast. That was October 23rd, I believe, 2023, or October 24th. We had a great night. Our whole crew, we were sitting just above the bottom bowl, right? Like it was pretty sweet. Oilers won that game, and then they still struggled for.
And you had Nickelback at least. Nickelback was there. That was fun. So
do you remember Nickelback had some issues with I think it was their gear, and they were delayed?
Yeah, they're fine though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everyone was fine aside from the lineups that took like 45 minutes to get a drink, I think, for some people. But I wasn't worried about that for me. So it was good. Still a fun experience, Tom. You hope they do another one in a little while, but it was good. I had fun. It was a bright shining light in a period of a lot of darkness for this team at the start of the season. And let's hope we're not on our way to feeling that again here with an 0-2 start.
Boy, oh boy. I saw a nasty chat thing from Quaddy. I want to read it. It had to do with Speedcast, and I wanted to fire it your way. I think it had to do with back pressure. Yes, I found it. Quaddy said, speed also matters on the back pressure. Forwards are not even coming back, and that includes the top 6. So to Quaddy's point, what are you seeing from them? Are you all?
I think that's a fair observation, Quaddy. Good observation, I would say, to say that I don't think the forwards have done enough from a back pressure standpoint to help out. Now, from a speed, if we're going to say, okay, where the issue is going to be with the speed, that could be something that we have to monitor and pay attention to, because it's not just the top 6, it's everybody else, right? Top 6, McDavid, Draisaitl, those are the guys that transport the puck that should be generating that offense 5-on-5. Now, the other guys, those are the guys supposed to be coming back and helping out playing defense. And probably haven't done that enough or done that well. And I think we talked about it multiple times last year, really probably more than last year, last couple of years. We'll call it the modern era, post McDavid era, or current, whatever. Since they've got McDavid, at times when they have struggled, it has been with that, defending against the rush, coming back into their own zone. Now, McDavid and Draisaitl, they're guys that generally cheat to the offensive side. And so, they're not the guys that are necessarily coming back full tilt into the zone. Now, they do sometimes. They recognize danger. They'll be coming back, or they should be. But I think a very fair observation to say, hey, this has started to be a little bit of an issue. And that could even lead to some of that challenge in the transition game, because you're not getting the puck back. You're not turning as many pucks over, which means you're not transitioning to offense, which means less offensive 5-on-5 opportunities for. So I think an astute observation, something we could probably keep our eye on tonight as well, to say, okay, where are these guys coming back to in zone? Are they enabling the defensemen to have good gaps? Are they picking up late trailing forwards? Are they having good sort outs? Where's the communication at? And see, is the speed an issue there? Well, it might be. We'll have to watch.
I like it. Good job, Quaddy. Good point. And I love that explanation. All right, let's get the Latino heat in here. He says the lines are out. Nancito, what do you got for us, buddy?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
After the chaos yesterday, I'm always gonna double check, man.
Check 1, 2. Yeah, you're good.
This thing on.
A lot of changes, guys. All right, let's go with the first line. Jeff Skinner, McDavid, Hyman. Second line, RNH, Draisaitl, Arvidsson. Third line, Podkolzin, Henrique, and Brown. And your fourth line is Janmark, Ryan, and Perry. And Stetcher comes in on the third pairing for Ty Emberson. The other two pairs stay the same. So a lot of movement for Mr. Chris Knobloch here. And we talked about it earlier, guys. With Tom, Ty Emberson out in his third game of the season. No bueno.
Cass, what say you?
Well, we talked about this at length about the amount of pressure that's on him. And again, here's a young guy that has played 30-something odd games in the NHL, and you're expecting him to step into your second pairing on the right side on a team that's supposed to be contending for the Stanley Cup. It's a difficult situation to put a guy in. and not the most simple player to play with in Darnell Nurse in terms of predictability and stability. I mean, it's different if he is playing on the right side with Matthias Ekholm in terms of stability. Darnell Nurse doesn't necessarily give you that. Now, he does give you some other things, and when he's playing well, he can be really effective and really good. We talk about that. But at times he's unpredictable, and that can be challenging for young defensemen that aren't experienced. So, I mean, he hasn't been great through the first two games. Could the Oilers, or should the Oilers, be trying to find something to work? Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, I guess ultimately not overly surprised at the decision.
So there you go. The lines for the Oilers tonight. Hernan just read them out. McDavid between Jeff Skinner and Hyman. Draisaitl with Nugent Hopkins and Arvidsson. Henrique between Podkolzin and Brown. Ryan with Janmark and Perry. Ekholm paired up with Bouchard. Nurse with Dermott. Kulak with Stetcher. Stu Skinner is your starter in goal. What is your expectation, Cass? Because we talked about him a little bit for Troy Stetcher.
Expectation or desire? Because those are two different things. Both. My expectation, he hasn't played a couple games. My desire is that he comes in and plays really simple. Expectation, oh man, I mean, he's probably a bottom pairing defenseman. So you could be, what do I want to see from him? What do I hope we see from him? Maybe I guess what I expect ultimately is I expect him to try to play a simple game. Don't try to do too much coming in. Don't try to prove it. Don't try to blow the doors off from a game and a play standpoint. Just be simple and don't make mistakes.
That's a good starting point. And if they get that, I think that would be nice. I'll just put it like that. It'll be nice if they can get that. Okay, what about the physicality side of things? I was calling some of the Flames players before you hopped on spit disturbers, and I don't foresee this getting overly physical tonight. I don't think we're going to see emotions come to a boil and somebody go berserk on the Oilers or anything like that. And I kind of think Edmonton, just guys with Nurse could just handle it. What do you think of these two lineups and the possibility of things getting a little bit out of hand physically? Because these two teams don't really have those guys, like Lomberg maybe.
Yeah. I mean, you could see more physicality. I think you could see some of the emotions for Edmonton, depending on how the game goes. Calgary's sitting good right now. They're 2-0. They've been solid thus far and found ways to win hockey games, even like that first game against Vancouver where they shouldn't have won, but they managed to battle back into the game and win it in OT with a big goal from former Kamloops Blazer, Connor Zary, which is always great to see. But I can't imagine it's going to be too chippy. Even for Edmonton, again, there could be some more emotion to it with starting off the season 0-2, but there's too much at stake. You don't want to go 0-3 if you're the Edmonton Oilers. You don't want to burn through it. So I can't anticipate it's going to be that crazy, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong when we see a line brawl and goalies fight. You never know. Again, it's the Battle of Alberta, so still anything could happen.
That would be lovely. I don't mind when they do that. For the Flames tonight, here is your lineup via our dear friend Pat Steinberg from Sportsnet 960 The Fan in Calgary. Kadri between Hanzik and Kuzmenko. Pospisil with Huberdeau and Mantha. Backlund centering Zary, who Cass was just talking about, and Coleman. And then Kirkland between Lomberg and Coronado. So Coronado getting in there. And then on defense, you've got Uyghur with Miramanov. Ball with Anderson. And then Tyson Barrie getting into his first game as a Flame in the regular season, obviously, with Pahal. Vladar between the pipes. Anything stand out to you when it comes to the Flames lineup?
No, I think a pretty steady defense group, anchored by Mackenzie Weegar. I mean, he's spectacular, fantastic player, wonderful to watch. Can do a little bit of everything out there. Plays offense well, plays defense well. Just good in all three zones in most situations. He's a fun player to watch. Yeah. I mean, the biggest observation from the Flames and the Flames lineup, and you'll get to that here, I'm sure, in a few minutes with Pat Steinberg, is going to be that. They got some youth now when we look at that forward group. They have some young players that are stepping in. The aforementioned Connor Zary being one of them that had a huge season last year, you would hopefully have a even better season, or they're hoping he has an even better season this year. But you have some good young players that are stepping in there. And Jonathan Huberdeau, he has started to, at the least at the start of this season, it looks like he's trending in the right direction, getting some of his game back. So it's, I don't think Calgary are cup contending world beaters here, but I think they're going to be a steady team. Now, goaltending could be the big question for them. What exactly does that look like? How good goaltending do they get? But you know what? They got some solid players there, Tom. It's a team that I think is going to compete, and they're going to compete a lot of nights, and they'll probably surprise some teams through the season.
Huberdeau, 3 goals, 2 assists in his first 2 games this year. Good to see him off the schneid. Not tonight, though, especially for Oilers fans. But, yeah, he signed that big ticket, and it has not gone well down in Calgary. Cass, fantastic work as always, my friend. And I have to come clean. We didn't get Patty tonight because I had to do a hit on the Fan 960. And it was during the time where we're going to get Pat, so I screwed.
No, I thought we were getting him. Sorry, so my fault then. I just sewered you with that. But
no, it was my fault. I messed up.
That's okay. We're good.
I feel shame.
You
were great. You were great as always. Cass, yes, we'll catch up with you on the post-game show, my friend. Enjoy something. Brisket today? Made brisket?
It'll be leftovers, yep.
Oh,
yep,
so
absolutely.
Good. Phenomenal. Great stuff as always. Talk to you later, my friend.
Sounds good, bud.
There is our analyst, Matt Cassian, with Game Changers, brought to you by Damon Bunting, Remax Elite. Damon is legitimately awesome. So if you're looking to buy or sell your home or a home, check out DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. I also need to add, Nancito, that portions of this hour brought to you by Hudson's, Canada's Pub. You are invited to watch Oilers games on Wednesdays when they have 49-cent wings, because those are Wing Wednesdays, obviously. Also, they do the $6 house draft, and they also rotate on other nights a featured draft where they cut a couple bucks off per pint, which is fantastic. They do have their new Blueberry Blonde Ale, so book your reservation now at hudsonscanadaspub.com if you want to get in there. I mean, you could probably slide in without a reso today, but say hi to Steve and Adam over at Bourbon Street, and then Connor and Berger over at White Ave. And Hernan, we will be on location on the 17th. Hudson's White, our first on location show. We'll also be down at Boston Pizza Westgate later on this season. I think the 27th and 28th, back-to-back games, we will be there. A shout out to Curtis, who does carry 6 o'clock or lager at BP Westgate, just across the street from West Edmonton Mall.
Nate the Builder, go Dodgers, Hernan. Okay. I don't know where that's coming from, but yeah, okay. I didn't know I was a Dodgers fan. Tyson Berrien, if you're a betting man, you should sprinkle that he will score today, because it's
a little
the Oilers
sprinkle
thing.
On that prop. Oh.
You know how that goes, Tommy.
I know. He's such a good guy, man.
Yeah, and good on him, and good on their coach to get him in there against his former team. He's gonna have a little bit of juice, for sure. And I'm telling you, man, Oilers better be ready for this game. Great breakdown by Cass there, talking about PK and all that and the defensive zone. So I guess I'll do a quick update on the question of the night. It's early, but what has you most concerned about the Oilers' slow start after 2 games, leading the way at 41.4%, 11 goals against, Tommy, followed closely by 21% for 1 even strength goal.
No bueno, as we like to say, my friend. No bueno. What?
Can I ask you, Ty Emberson?
Yep.
I tweeted it out. I'm like, he's sitting out game 3, and hopefully this pumps the brakes on the ridiculous expectations many were putting on him. And I know the coach talked to him, and it's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. He could turn out to be a really good defenseman. But, Tom, like, for me, in Game 3, it just shows that, all the analytics and what you always got to take into account where he was playing, who he's playing with, who is he playing against, right? Like, there's so much that goes into it, and everybody thought this guy was a savior coming in. He's going to settle down Darnell Nurse when it should be the other way around. Now he sits out in Game 3. He will be back in the lineup. I'm not saying this is a one and done. Obviously not. But this just goes to show you that a guy with 30 games of NHL experience is not a guy you should go all in on, as some fan base, some analytics people went in on this guy. It's unfair to him, too, because now he's sitting there. He's sitting out Game 3, and he's like, holy man, like everybody thought I was going to be. And it's not his fault. Like, he just came over in a trade. That's
Right.
it. And
Yeah.
he wants to play hockey. He wants to play on the NHL team. He wants to play on a Stanley Cup contender. But then all these crazy expectations from the outside. It's unfortunate that he's out this early, Tom. I warned a lot of people. I said, pump the brakes on this kid because, again, there is something there. But to think he was going to come in and settle a bunch of defensemen down and be a key piece, I think we're a little too what's the word I'm looking
Premature
for?
on that one.
Yeah, premature on that one. So
And
hopefully he can bounce back.
you make a good point, Hernan, but it's not over for him, like you
No.
also alluded to, and it's just going to take time. Let's see what he does with it. His puck touches have been a little bit rough, for a lack of a better term, and he's only played 32 NHL games. So yeah, and that's kind of why I said it on the rankings of importance on the Oil Stream with Dusty. Like, just let him. He's going to make mistakes. It's going to be tough some nights, but do not heap a world of pressure on a guy who really has not played much in this league. And you make another good point. It's look at where he was playing. It was in garbage time mostly, and
he wasn't playing against
team.
elites. Like, he was third pairing guy. And
it could still be a good story, though. He could 100%. He could figure it out still.
I think it's very early in the Ty Emberson story here in Edmonton. And I said it yesterday in the post game. I thought that pair really struggled. They were dashed to. They took a penalty that led to a goal. So I'm not surprised by this. I just hope everybody just now calms the waters on Ty Emberson. Let him play on that third pair. Let him find his groove. And then if he deserves it and he's playing well, you elevate him. But you don't just give a spot on your second pairing. And on the flip side, Darnell Nurse, better yesterday, has to be much, much better here. He is the key on that second pair. It's not the guy beside him, Tom. He is.
Right.
Travis Dermott's limited. Stetcher's limited. Emerson's limited. It's Darnell Nurse.
Agreed. Okay, let's get to some text. We have a couple minutes left here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Fun show, man. This thing flies by. Let's go to Scalding Gord. Says, I want Josh Brown. If the D is going to play this way, at least Brown may get some action churning. Half sarcasm, half true. And then Scalding Gord also threw in a buttocks is the new same old.
Buttocks?
And buttocks is the way Reed Wilkins says it. And he dropped that on us last night on the post-game show. If you didn't catch it and you're going, why are you saying it like that? Reed said it like that on the post-game show. And I'll talk to Reed tonight at the game. I will see if he wants to hop on as well for a few minutes, if he's going to work the room. And and then he's very funny, as we're learning, as I've known for many, many years. Let's go to Norman at Combine. Says, gentlemen, brisket and turkey is almost done smoking. Ham, smoked and resting. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. Texans wipe the floor with the Pats. Let's go, Oilers. Norm. The Cardinals had an absolutely atrocious day at Lambeau Field. I'll just leave it at that. Let's go to Mary. Mary, hello. Mary says, it would be so nice not to revisit last season's semester of darkness. They have worked on sweet F-all in the preseason. What a waste. And then she adds the I'm in danger, Ralph Wiggins meme in there. Well done, Mary. And then another Simpsons reference from Spruce Grove Corey, who also says, honest question, with the way Nurse gets absolutely raked over the coals because of his salary, can this fan base really handle Bouchard's defensive lapses at 8 to 10 mil a year? He needs to improve on that side of the puck. Yeah, he's had a tough start, Corey, but he's a perpetually slow starter.
And also, when I look at Evan Bouchard, Tommy, I think, yes, he's a defenseman. He needs to defend. But I think that's never going to be his strong suit. His strong suit's moving the puck, offensive numbers, and all that. When you compare it to Nurse got to be that shutdown guy.
Yeah.
For me, Nurse is not an offensive, and I know everybody throws out his numbers. Like, if he has 0 points but plays like Ekholm, I'll be fine with that. You don't need Nurse to have points. We need him. The Oilers need him to play sound defensively, to be a leader, to take over that second pair. That's what they need. It's not the offense. So when you compare Bouchard to Nurse, I think they're different players. Bouchard's going to get paid because of his offensive game, not his defensive game.
Yes.
Can he grow into it? Sure, but he's never going to be a shutdown defenseman.
Well said. I'm giggling because I goofed. It's Ralph Wiggum. Thank you, go, ya Burry, and
what did you
say? Wiggins. My bad. I have not watched Simpsons in decades.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah, I think they're into season 34 or something like that.
What
Thank
a
you
run.
for keeping me honest. I appreciate that. What a run. All right, one more time. The lines tonight for the Edmonton Oilers, courtesy of our dear friend Bob Stauffer. McDavid between Jeff Skinner and Zach Hyman. Draisaitl between Nugent Hopkins and Arvidsson. Henrique with Podkolzin elevated. And Brown. And then on the fourth line, Derek Ryan between Matthias Janmark and Corey Perry. On defense for the Oil tonight, Ekholm with Bouchard. Nurse with Dermott. Kulak with Troy Stetcher, who makes his season debut. Stu Skinner between the pipes, looking to get a bounce back game in against the Flames. His record against Calgary, lifetime pretty good. Pretty darn good. He is 4-1 with a 190 GAA, 946 save percentage in 6 appearances versus Calgary. And at the other end of the rink, it is Dan Vladar, who is 2-1 lifetime versus the Oil, 269 goals against average, 916 save percentage in the 3 appearances versus Edmonton in his career. We're going to end it with Chris's text. Thank you, Chris, for the text. He says, happy Thanksgiving, guys. See you at the post game if I'm not turkey drunk, passed out. Chris, we'll hold you to it. Appreciate it very much. To everybody who watched and listened, we appreciate you as always. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Oilers looking for win number 1. Can they get it done in the Battle of Alberta? We'll find out. For Hernan Salas and Matty Cass, and I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you. We'll see you on the post game. Enjoy your turkey. Ciao, ciao.